Welcome back to Saturday Hashmarks. My name is Brian, joined here by Nick. Elephant in the room. We did not record last week, and that's my fault, Nick. I was very sick. Woke up on a Monday with the worst sore throat I've ever had. Legitimately thought about going to the doctors, which I don't ever do. So that's on me. But we're back. I guess I should throw this out. Also, I'm also known as Trojan Bias on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And if you're not following, what are you doing? Why aren't you following? Just go follow. Nick, we have the national championship game set.
Excited.
I'm excited. I think this is going to be a great game. Indiana and Miami. Indiana, the first seed. Miami, the 10th seed, which is obviously the first time we've had a double-digit seed play for a national championship. Obviously, we'll have seeds 1 through 4 playing before, and last year the 10th seed did not make it. So we got the 10th seed in the national championship game. Now, this is a Miami team that barely snuck into the playoffs. A lot of discourse going on. They weren't ranked in the playoffs until the last ranking of the season when they jumped to Notre Dame. We all saw how that played out. Marcus Freeman cried and made his team sit out of the bowl game. Missed out on the Pop-Tarts Bowl. Wild thing to do. Pop-Tarts Bowl is the best bowl in college football. I would rather play in that than national championship. At least part of me would. Absolutely
As long
insane.
as you win it.
Dude, if you win the Pop-Tart Bowl, you get to eat that giant Pop-Tart. And we saw this year a Pop-Tart on the loose. Dude escaped. Dude,
Yeah.
electric. I can't imagine sitting at home when you could have played in that. But it's a really intriguing matchup, in my opinion. And the reason why is on one side, we have the team that's looked the best all season with Indiana. Like Indiana, they go to Autzen. They win in Autzen. That's tough to do. They play Ohio State, who a lot of people, myself included, thought was the best team in the country, thought they were going to two-peat. They beat them in the conference championship game. And then they take care of business in the playoffs. They absolutely dominated Alabama. They absolutely dominated Oregon and beat them by more than they did when they played in the regular season. They're looking from August to mid-January like the best team in the country. Miami, on the other hand, they started the season good. They beat Notre Dame. They held Jeremiah Love to like 30 yards on the ground, shut him down. Looked really good. Then they sputtered throughout the season. They had 2 losses. One was to Louisville. They lost 24-21. And granted, that was a Friday night. Friday night ACC games are weird. But the second one, they lost to SMU 26-20 in overtime. That's the game that Carson Beck threw an interception in the end zone, and then SMU got the ball back, went down, and scored. They did not look good at that point in the season. At that point in the season, they looked real bad. Don't end up making the ACC championship game. And then start to look good in the playoffs, though. They get hot at the right time. Start to look real good in the playoffs. Beat A&M. Now, granted, their offense did nothing that game, but their defense did enough. I'll say Mark Fletcher had a great game. Mark Fletcher went off in that game, but they put up 10 points, won 10-3. Then they beat who they beat after that.
Ohio State.
Ohio State, yeah. Beat Ohio State, so take care of business against Ohio State. Defense is playing at a phenomenal level, and then beat Ole Miss now in the conference championship. But I gotta ask the question here. I think this is a question that college football fans need to be asking. I think that college football itself needs to be asking that, and that is, what do we want a national champion to be? Do we want a national champion to be the team that is hot at the right time? They're the best team in the middle of January, but they kind of sputtered throughout the season, didn't look great earlier in the season. Or is a national champion the team that's looked best from the very beginning, very first game of the season through the end of the season?
So, my take on that is with NIL and stuff like that now, you're going to have, in the expanded playoffs in general, you're going to have more lower seeds, underdogs, essentially, that are making it to the title game, winning the title game. Ohio State was the 8 seed last year, and they won it all. So, and you can't necessarily say they were the best team in college football all year if they're the 8 seed. But my whole take on it with this is it's basically turning into the NFL playoffs. You're always going to have your 1 seeds that are always in contention, and they're always more likely to represent that conference in the Super Bowl. Whereas, and then a few times you'll get a 6 seed, you may have a 4 seed, you'll get a 7 seed occasionally that makes it all the way. And I just think with expanded playoffs, you get more games and just different matchups, and things will fall that way. Things will fall the way to where you're going to get double-digit seeds or lower seeds in the championship game more often when they essentially haven't been the best team all year, but they got hot at the end. Like this year, if I know I don't want to keep comparing to the NFL, but the Houston Texans, they were like 1-5 or 0-3, 1-5 or something like that, and they just rattled off tons of straight wins in a row, and now everyone's thinking they're going to beat the Patriots on the road. So it's like, we'll see double-digit seeds make it farther nowadays just because the teams are getting hot, and I don't think we should discredit teams for getting hot at the right time. Like, yeah, Carson Beck cost him 2 games essentially, but he's playing good enough football right now. They're running the ball well. They're playing good defense, and they're still standing. It's just them in Indiana, and I don't think we can discredit them for that.
I agree with you that it's becoming it's becoming the NFL light. It's becoming where if you are hot at the right time, you're going to get in. You look at Alabama, who snuck into the playoffs after losing to Oklahoma in the regular season and then getting beat very handedly in the conference championship game.
It's just, and that's also devaluing the conference championship games at this point too. But that we've talked about that.
And that's exactly. I completely agree with you. I don't think we should be going to this model. I don't think that it's good for college football. I think that's one of the things that's always made college football different and, in my opinion, better than any other sport in the world or other league in the country. Is that you couldn't just be good at the right time. If you sucked or sputtered in the middle of the season, you weren't winning a national championship. It didn't matter how good you were looking in that last game. If you had 2 losses, you weren't getting in. And I think that is, we are going away from that, and I don't think we should be going away from that, right? I think Indiana, to me, is national champions, right? They've looked the best throughout the entire season. They won't finish with less losses than Miami will because they physically cannot. And I think that where we are going right now is just something that is very unrecognizable to what college football has been historically. My whole life, one of the reasons I've always liked college football more than the NFL is because every game had high stakes. Every single game had the highest of stakes because if you lost that game, you weren't doing anything for the rest of the season. You may go to a good bowl game, you may go to the Rose Bowl, but you weren't playing for a national championship. And I think that is what really college football, what set it apart from everything else, and why I think we need to go back to that and shrink the playoffs down.
Yeah, I think everyone's kind of realizing now. Like everyone was all for not saying everyone, but everyone was all for the conference realignment and all this stuff and the 12-team playoff and expanding everything. And in reality, it's kind of just slowly turning it into NFL light,
And
and it's not good for the sport. I feel like.
I agree 100%. It's not good for the sport. I think it's look if you and this isn't to be like, oh, let's go to the NFL if you like the NFL better, but like if that's what you want, if you want like a team that gets hot at the right time, like you already have the NFL that you can watch, right? Like we don't need to reinvent the wheel and turn college football into the NFL light. I don't think college football will ever get the same amount of fan interest, or I should say like casual fan interest as the NFL. College football fans typically are more diehard than the average NFL fan. And so I don't think you need to make it like the NFL to attract viewers. I think the product we had was very, very good. Even with the 14 playoffs, I think it was very good. I when you had those late, the last 2 games of the regular season, you're like, okay, we need this team to lose and this team to win and this team to lose and drop and this team that's at 6, they can still get it. Like that was perfect. And I get that a 4 playoff team was not going to work with 5 power conferences. That was stupid. The way that the conferences have fallen now, which I don't like the conferences now, I don't like the conference realignment. To me, Oklahoma and Texas are Big 12 schools. If you want to go back further, Texas is an SWC school. USC, UCLA, Oregon, Washington, that's Pac-12. But if we have 4 conferences, let's make it 8 teams. Let's make it 8 teams. You're gonna get your 4 or your 5 highest conference winners, um, highest ranked conference winners, and 3 at-large teams, right? And that could either be a team that lost in the regular season and didn't make it in their division, and let's reintroduce divisions. Didn't make the conference championship game because they lost to the eventual conference champion, or it can be the team that lost in the conference championship. That's for the committee to decide every year. Really, just deciding those 3 in the seedings. But I think this product we have now, and if we go to a 16-team playoff, it is harmful to the sport of college football.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I know we're talking about all this right now, but I'm not mad that Miami's in the national championship game. Because I mean, shit, if Carson Beck doesn't screw up against SMU or Louisville, they are squarely in the playoff. They have they've proven it. They have a top 3 defense in the country, and so I mean they're a damn good team. They, but like you said, they did just get hot at the right time, and the quarterback position kind of held them back a little bit. But
Definitely did.
I'm not
Definitely did.
mad that they're playing in the national championship at all.
I wouldn't say I'm mad about it. To me, it's a 2 loss, and we had it last year with Ohio State too. But a 2 loss national champion and it is weird. I'm not a fan of that. I'm not mad that they're in it. If they win it and they beat Indiana, then I'll say they deserve to be national champions for beating Indiana. It's not what I want to see from the sport, is crowning a 2 loss national champion that lost to 2 not very great teams. Now, with that said, let's talk about the games from this week. Indiana. Let's talk about this one first. So Indiana beat Oregon in the rematch. We alluded to it. I said they dominated them. They beat them 56-22. They dominated every aspect of that game. Oregon couldn't stop them. They couldn't really score. They scored 22, but like you let them put up 56 on you. Like 22 is not going to impress me. I'm not going to say that's a good offensive performance. Dominated every aspect of the game. First play from scrimmage, Indiana takes a pick six.
Pick six.
Pick six completely jumps the route. But that does bring me to a question, or a theory I've seen floated around on Twitter. And that is Indiana cheating? So before you answer that, I'm going to go through what the evidence for that is, right? So the theory is that Indiana is hacking into the clouds that they use, that other teams use, I should say, to get practice film and then the game plan, including the opening script. The evidence for that. So Indiana barely practices. They have very publicly said before that they practice for about 6 hours a week, and some practices are less than 45 minutes. To me, that is, and
Mike Kadick of Barstool had came out and said that they practice short, but it's like an hour and 25 minutes. Like
see, I don't remember if it was Mendoza or something. I think it was Mendoza that said that some practices are less, and not every practice, but there are practices that are less than 45 minutes, which a walkthrough could be less than 45 minutes or be about 45 minutes. But still, an hour 20, even with your high intensity practice, this is a team that's known for being very disciplined. That takes time. They execute almost perfectly. Like they know their game plan. They know what they are supposed to do. They know their job. That takes practice. They work very well as a team together. That takes practice. So to me, it kind of raises an eyebrow of, okay, they're not practicing very much. And that
just might be on the practice field, though.
That could very well be on the practice field. Now, the other thing with it, the other piece of evidence is that their defensive quality control coach, which is kind of one of those jobs that I don't want to say is an errand boy, but it's, they don't really have like a job, or they don't want to publicly say what their job is, right? Francis Meehan supposedly has, well, if you look at the Indiana website, actually, it says it very clearly, his postgraduate certificate in cyber intelligence. Now, I think it's very plausible that Francis Meehan got into coaching, because he has his bachelor's in sports management. Got into coaching in his bachelor's and was like, you know what, I need to do something. Maybe coaching isn't for me. Maybe I'm just not enjoying it. Maybe I don't like I'm not, want to have something to fall back on. Got his degree in cyber intelligence. Maybe he wanted to be like an analyst of some kind as a backup. Got this Indiana job and hasn't looked back. It's a very plausible thing. But there's on a four of Indiana's games, they have had interceptions where they've jumped routes in the first drive, which is a lot. Which is a lot of times, and that's about what a third of their. Well, they played more than 12 now. About a quarter of their
This is
games.
20, yeah, 25% of their games now. I
Yeah,
mean,
so 25% of their games. I'm not saying that I believe Indiana is cheating. I don't think there's enough evidence to say that. But what I'm saying is I think there are some things that make you question it.
yeah, I mean, people like to. It's just crazy that they haven't even won a national championship, and people are already like, they're cheating. They're cheating. There's no way they can be this good. Blah 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 blah. And it's like maybe they're just like. So you're telling me that the offense, the way that they run the ball as well as they do, Fernando is just as like accurate as he is. Like they don't like if they're getting game plans, it's mainly for the offensive, the opponent's offensive side of the ball. Like you can really only do so much defensively. Like at the end of the day, you're playing cover two. At the end of the day, you're playing cover four. At the end of the day, you're playing cover three, or you're in man, and it's just the way you disguise it. And Fernando's smart enough to be like to decipher that on his own. So I mean, I just feel like the the offensive side of it has no chance of even if they were cheating, they would look like 2019 LSU on offense.
I agree.
Like,
100% agree.
uh, and then defensively, I mean, watching film is massive, and I don't think people understand that. Like those guys can practice for an hour and a half, but if they watch an hour and a half of film and then they go home and they watch a couple hours of film, you're gonna pick up on stuff. Like you're gonna pick up on the little nuances and hand signals and all that kind of stuff. They do it in the NFL, and I mean it's like it's been around forever. I mean shit. When I'm coaching the freaking high school team, I'm looking across the field and for signs, and people are. We have coaches that are listening for what they're screaming and what they do off the edge, like on deep like blitzes. It's part of football, and I just feel like Indiana's just better at watching film, and I think they play more aggressively on defense, where their corners are driving on the ball more, and they're willing to get beat on double moves, or they have trust that they can get back and cover it, and so that it allows them to drive on passes, especially early in the game. Like you said, four interceptions in their first 15 games on the first drive. I think that all has to do with most offenses want to get their quarterback into a rhythm early. So what are they going to do? Short, easy completions. How do you combat that? Man, have them drive on the ball, have a safety over the top. Let your corners drive on stuff early, have safety help. And I think that's what Indiana is doing. And I think it's just smart football. Like if it's most teams want to get their quarterback in a rhythm early, whether that's screen passes, run game, or whatever it is. So if you come out and be aggressive, you can get a pick early. You can get a tip pass on a breakup pass and get a tip interception. So I just think it's a little early to start the cheating allegations. I mean, Bama had like a freaking 15-year run and they didn't start getting cheating allegations until like halfway through it. I just think it's pretty wild that they haven't even won a natty yet, and they've won like what? It's like 15 straight games or whatever, and they're already getting crowned as these cheaters, and it's just
To
it's
me,
crazy to me.
and it reminds me of this would be a little bit of a dagger to your heart, but was it the 2017 Astros that cheated the trash can banging? Um, they were a good enough team to not need to do that, and they still probably would have
Yes.
won the World Series. And that's with
Yeah.
like Indiana. Even if they were cheating, they play good enough football to have gotten to the point that they are at. So I don't think
Everyone's
that.
like, well, everyone's like, oh, they haven't have any 5 stars. They don't have any 4 stars. Blah 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 blah. And it's like, but they have guys that have played 25 games of college football, 30 games of college football. It's like, yeah, you're a 3 star that came from James Madison, or you're a 3 star that came from freaking Illinois, or whatever. If you've played college football against good opponents, you have that. They could be just as good as a freaking 5 star coming in out of high school. The guy that's never had
100%.
to deal with college football at all. And
And
the growth and everything, the difference between a 22-year-old man and an 18-year-old is night and day, athletically,
yes,
mentally, everything. And so, even though Indiana isn't like the oldest team in the world, because I'm pretty sure there's past national champions that have been older than them or just around their same age. I just think that the fact that they just played football, and a lot of those guys have been under Signetti for like 4 years, and I think that has a lot to do with it, why they're so good, and people are just kind of overlooking it because they want to say that they're cheating.
I agree. I agree with that. I don't think that there's enough evidence to say they are cheating. I think a lot of people. So you're absolutely right that they're not going to out talent anybody, but they play very good football. They play very experienced football. They're doing their jobs. I think a lot of
Well,
the
the,
rumors.
I will say too is they do have talent, and the thing is people are, excuse me, people are looking at stars that some freaking Joe Schmo gives out to rate talent, and it's like,
Hey, the
you're
fine
telling
folk
me
at
that
On
freaking,
Three
yeah,
would be
you're
very
telling me
upset to
that
have
just
you call
because
them random Joes.
the only guy I know on three is freaking Hayes. It's literally the only
They
guy.
put a lot of time and effort into their star rankings, and they would appreciate it if you would appreciate them.
I could do the same thing. I wouldn't charge like they
All
do.
right, you heard it first here. Nick is getting some star rankings going, so be on the lookout for that. We're gonna put it on our website that doesn't exist yet, but when we get a website, we'll have Nick's star ratings.
I think, like at the end of the day, star ratings, they don't matter. You see 2 stars, 0 stars, 1 stars, 3 stars that are starting for Super Bowl teams in the NFL and
I
shit.
agree.
Like,
I agree 100%. I just don't think that even if you take the star out of it, you just have to watch the games. I don't think that they have the same talent on an individual level. Like if you took their top receiver and Jeremiah Smith. Like Jeremiah Smith is objectively the better receiver, and I think it's like that for most of the teams they play. Ryan Williams is probably objectively better than anyone they have. Mark Fletcher, well, they haven't played here yet, but Mark
Ryan
Fletcher is
Williams had such a
objectively
fall off.
better than like Kalon Black. Like I think there is a very clear that like they are on an individual level not going to out talent a team, but these teams they have the experience, and that experience does make a difference on a team atmosphere. Like there's a reason that some of these Ivy League schools in March Madness can make a run. They're not out talenting Duke, North Carolina, Kansas, Kentucky, Gonzaga, but they
It's
play
just,
very good team smart basketball,
mm-hmm.
passing the ball around, waiting for the right shot, and that's exactly what Indiana reminds me of. They're not out talenting people, but
They
they
don't shoot
are just
themselves in the
playing
foot.
correct. They play very good football. They play very good team football. They do their job. And so I think a lot of people are going, okay, they're not as talented. And I think people aren't realizing that there's a difference between individual talent and team talent or team results. And I think there's also a part of people we look at, the 2017 Astros that was broken by John Boy. Like there were rumors of it, then John Boy did a breakdown on it, which free plug to John Boy. John Boy is one of my favorite YouTube channels out there. Um, and then you look at the sticky stuff also in baseball. That was all done on social media too. And then the MLB stepped in and did something about it. And then you had Michigan 2 years ago with the
Connor
Michigan
Stallions.
Manifesto. Thank you, Connor Stallions. Connor Stallions, who it wasn't all done on social media, but it started out on social media with people saying, "Wait a minute, this dude that's on the Michigan sideline was also on the Central Michigan sideline," and so you have like this where there's like I think people are kind of in this conspiracy theory mood where they want to be the people that are like, or they're
Always.
looking for conspiracy theories everywhere, and so I think that is what's happening with Indiana. Now I think
And
it's one of those things where if it came out to be true, like yeah, there were signs, like there were definitely signs,
yes,
but if
I was
it
just gonna
doesn't come
say
out, I there were
it.
signs.
If they do get caught cheating, then I mean, like, yeah, they did it, but like, it's pretty wild. I'm just saying, it's pretty wild to accuse them this early on.
Yeah, yeah, it
People are
wasn't
just trying to
until
downplay their success. It's
yeah,
like
I also think there's that
normally
part of it
people love
too.
the underdog story, and now all of a sudden people are
For
like, "Oh, the
some
underdog's
reason, this
cheating."
year, no, it was weird because everyone loved the underdog, and I was not. I was not a big like I very clearly. I've said numerous times I wouldn't have voted for Mendoza to win the Heisman, and I thought that Indiana would get exposed, and they haven't, and I was wrong on that. But like the flip has the script has flipped, and a lot of people are just not in on this Indiana team anymore.
Yeah,
I think maybe part of it's because of Signetti's like very cut and dry Bill Belichick esque personality. Uh, I don't know how you. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Fernando Mendoza, but like his press conferences are very entertaining. That boy watches trains. He for sure watches trains. His special and he got the special interest as football, and that's a superpower right there.
no comment.
All right, well we got that out of the way. We got to address it when it's going all over Twitter and it's college football. We will be addressing that. But yeah, I mean Indiana completely outmatches Oregon in every aspect. And then before the game before that was objectively I can't talk objectively a better game. When Miami beats Ole Miss 31-27. Okay, so this is a very back and forth game, kind of in the second half. I want to say back and forth. I'm going to amend my statement there. It wasn't back and forth. Miami starts to looks good really early. Like Ole Miss can't move the ball. Miami's like driving down some self-inflicted wounds to Miami. They get like a couple. They get a couple
Lead,
turnovers or like just
yeah,
they get
kick a
too
field
cute with
goal.
it, kick a
Yeah,
field goal. There was the trick play they had, which is the weirdest trick play I've ever seen. I don't even know if you consider it a trick play. It's like a quarterback draw. Carson Beck takes like 4 steps, and then it's a designed throw it back across the field backwards. Uh, Very not good because anyone could have came over and hit the ball down and then picked it up and scored. But even then, the receiver dropped it. Was it Tony? I think it went to drops it, and then they end up losing yards. He has to turn around and pick it up. Miami kind of got Chris defrauded a little bit. I don't think Miami was looking very good in the second half. Ole Miss comes alive. They start to chip back, field goal, really start to chip away at it. Trinidad is looking absolutely insane. Trinidad Chambliss that game was looking incredible. They take the lead with like what 3 minutes to play, somewhere around there, and then Carson Beck looks the best that he's looked ever. And I'm not even going to say that it's because Carson Beck was delivering dimes. Throughout the game, he looked like shit. He was throwing ducks, completely missing on throws. Numerous times that he had a guy wide open and just missed him. That would have been a tud. Uh, but Ole Miss went into the prevent defense, and the old adage of the only thing a prevent defense prevents is a win came true. Carson Beck runs it in. Uh, it, Ole Miss is like a first or second and like 5. Ole Miss just decides to man up and blitz everybody, and nobody accounts for Carson Beck. And he walks in like it's a Sunday afternoon. He's taking a walk. Sun is shining on him into the end zone. But even then, sorry, I got a little excited on that. Even then, we almost had a comeback. Trinidad just marches down to the 20, and like they scored with 18 seconds left. Marches down to the 20. They take a Hail Mary because they were down 4, so it isn't really even a Hail Mary if it's from like the 30. Uh, and the receiver that it went to got mugged the entire way. The DB's hands on his shoulder pads all the way into the end zone. If Trinidad puts it like 6 inches closer, that's a catch and it's a touchdown. Like that was so close to hitting. Unfortunately for Trinidad and Ole Miss, it doesn't.
yeah. Credit to Miami, and this is where Carson Beck is like. I mean, he's won a national championship with Georgia. He's been here before. He's been in these tense moments, and so I think when they went down 27-24, I was like, all right, yeah, they're gonna come back and win this thing. There's Ole Miss is it's not gonna end well for them. The Cinderella run's over, and it happened. I just think that I mean I kind of feel bad for Ole Miss. Uh, they kind of had that Cinderella run going. It felt like with everything that happened with Kiffin and all the assistants trying to leave and all the players that have probably been getting trying to get poached ever since Kiffin left. Uh, Credit to them for making it this far, but I if we're going back on who do you want the best team to be the national champion, I definitely don't think Ole Miss was one of the best, like four to five teams in college football. So
Yeah, I think through. I'm with you. It was more of a Cinderella, but they only lost one game all year, and it was a very close game to Georgia. But they beat Oklahoma, who beat Alabama. They then end up beating Georgia.
I
I don't
mean,
know
I,
if I
I
would
feel like if
say
they had Kiffin, it just felt like a Cinderella run because Pete Gold's never been
because
the
of
head coach
Kiffin.
of a game before,
Yes,
and all the other coaches that are leaving, and people just started immediately just were doubting him. Not so much a
100%.
Cinderella run; it was just more like a underdog run, I should say. I mean, they're kind of the same thing, but it's not like we're talking a 12 seed making it to the Sweet 16
Yeah, I
and
think they
Cinderella
were
run, but
one of the best teams, but then shit happened with their coach, and then like nobody would have been surprised if they faltered, but they
I
didn't.
mean, Miami kind of did just dominate Ole Miss. I mean, the score was they needed a last second touchdown to win. Uh, Miami did lose the turnover battle 1-0, but they ultimately dominated in every other aspect. They only threw for 9 less yards, but they ran for 70 more yards. They had 51 rush attempts in the game. I think Ole Miss ran 60 plays. So
That's insane.
Ole Miss had the ball for 18 minutes and 38 seconds. Miami had the ball for 41 minutes and 22 seconds.
See, to
Miami, it
me, it
looks like
was
they ran 88 plays compared to 60 plays for Ole Miss. That the score kind of shouldn't have been as close as it was. Credit to Ole Miss for keeping it that way. But most teams won't win games playing that way, even
I
if you win the
agree.
turnover battle.
We've talked about it before. Ole Miss is
And
such an explosive team. Um, and to me, it was like the tell of two halves. First half, the
it was a
first half, it was
three
all
no, three no,
Miami,
three no,
all
three no.
Miami. Like Miami was dominating that game. But second half, to me, like everything, it wasn't even just that Ole Miss was like doing better, playing better. They were getting the breaks. They were getting the lucky bounces and things just going their way. Everything seemed to be going their way. And Miami had some self inflicted wounds in the second half too. There lots of false starts on plays. Yeah, like I said, Cristobal. I
I
think
mean,
that this was a total Mario Cristofraud moment in my opinion. And I think if they lose, like that would have been trending on Twitter was Cristofraud. I think that
yeah, I mean,
Cristobal got outcoached.
uh, well, I mean, Ole Miss just, yeah, I mean, I really don't know how they kept it close. I mean, I guess the one interception and then having six less penalties kind of, but I don't, it's just kind of wild to me how Miami just dominated the game, but it was so close.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
that has possibly been the one of the best games of the college football playoffs.
oh yeah, that was electric. But credit to Miami for winning. Credit to Ole Miss for making it this far. I am saying now I doubt we see them back in the playoff next year. So hopefully they enjoyed that run. But I don't.
I don't know.
It's too early to talk about. But
They're getting a lot of dudes back. Like we'll definitely keep an eye on it and then talk about this more before next season. They're getting a lot of dudes back. I don't think this is it for them. I think that they may make a run. Not a run. Oh, they may be one of the
we'll
better teams
see.
in the SEC next year.
We'll see how their
I'm gonna
staff turns
say
out.
that is a very good point. I'm gonna say good for Carson Beck for getting the game winning touchdown. Like I've been a
Wow,
very
that's very big of you.
I know I've been very anti
A
Carson Beck.
compliment.
I do not give Carson Beck any credit. But you look at everything he's kind of been through, playing at Georgia, and he was supposed to be the next dude, and he wasn't the next dude at all. He didn't play very well. Him and Kirby never seemed to get along, and he never showed emotion. He didn't seem to care at Georgia, and he goes to Miami, really probably for a paycheck, and to get to have the play where he gets them to the game or to the national championship game. I'm gonna say good for him. Good for him. He looked like shit most of that game, but good for Carson Beck. That's gonna be a story he tells while he's selling cars at Carson Beck Honda.
Maybe after playing 6 years in the NFL.
6 is a lot of years. You think he gets 2 contracts?
Who knows? Who knows? He played good. He played good when Todd Monken was his OC at Georgia, and then Monken left, and that's when he looked like shit. And then he went
That
to
is
a
true.
more friendly, more himself friendly team in Miami, and
And
he
and
looked
he hasn't
better.
been. I will say he has not been asked to do a ton at Miami, and I think that's kind of something he may have going for him. Is like he's not really a quarterback that's typically gonna, carry a team across the finish line. Um, but
He also just has the
he
prototypical build of a quarterback too. Like
he does.
if he gets his mechanics cleaned up, gets in a quarterback friendly offense as a backup, doesn't have to play for 2, 3 years, but looks good in practice, he'll get a job. It
Agreed. He
doesn't
might
take
be.
much. It doesn't take much
He
to
could.
earn a 10-year career as a backup.
He could be a career backup. He could be like a Matt Barkley or is it AJ McCarron. Also was that
All
sort
you
of
gotta do
way.
is come in and look good for 4 or 5 games, and you can earn yourself 4 years.
Look at look at Malik
Chase
Willis.
Daniel.
That dude's gonna get a contract this year or this offseason.
Yeah, Malik Willis will get a contract, and then if he doesn't do good as a starter, he will get probably a couple more chances as a backup because of what
Yeah.
he did last time.
Oh,
He bought himself at least 6 years, 6 more years in the NFL probably.
another one, Matt Castle from USC. He didn't throw a pass in college. He got drafted, and then was a backup until Brady goes down. He gets the Pats to the playoffs, and then signs a fat deal with the Chiefs. He definitely could. It could definitely happen for Carson Beck.
Yeah,
Speaking of mechanics, though, I know we've talked about this off air. What the hell is going on at Michigan? So if you
that's
have
bad.
not,
Yeah,
if you haven't seen it, Bryce Underwood, quarterback for Michigan, didn't look great this year. Like, did not look great. He was supposed to be
he
a
he looked all right. He looked all right in the beginning of the season and never got better. And
yes.
now we know why.
Uh, now we know why. Turns out they did not have a dedicated quarterback coach that worked with him every day. So if you don't
No
know, if you've never
one,
been even
no one was
even a
working on mechanics. How
yeah, even
insane
a
is that?
high school practice, when you split off and do position drills, and in college, I'm sure there's even more of this. Like they're working on your mechanics. Like I was a running back in high school, and we would do like 30 to 45 minutes of just handoffs, just simple basic handoffs. And if we would get the shit kicked out of us, and have to do up downs in a pile of like grass stickers, if we didn't do very well on those, if we fumbled or if we just weren't giving it 100%. And the quarterback will also go through like 30 to 45 minutes a day in high school of just mechanics, just drop back throw, drop back throw, drop back throw. Michigan did not have that. There was nobody working with him on his mechanics. So of course he's going to have bad mechanics and going to look pretty bad and inaccurate when you don't have anyone sitting there telling you what to do on your mechanics and you're not getting better. You're going to pick up bad habits throughout the season because you're not improving those. Maybe it's small things like your shoulder might or your elbow might be like 3 degrees turned out right.
Hmm.
You can't tell the difference on that. But your coach go, hey, your elbow's flaring. Keep that thing tucked, and you're gonna throw a better ball. And when you have like nobody working with it, that is wild. And I don't understand how nobody like what was Sharon Moore doing? How did Sharon Moore even get this job to begin with? How did Sharon Moore not get fired for not performance, for shit like this before
He,
he went off the deep end?
I guarantee you, he was like, "Oh, Jim used to work with the quarterbacks, and Jim's the head coach, and so I'm the head coach, and I'm going to work with the quarterbacks." Probably not thinking about, "Oh yeah, Jim was an NFL quarterback and knows
That
what
is
to do
that is
and is a
very possibly
quarterback
true.
developer." And so
Yeah,
he
that is a
probably thought,
good chance that
he was
happened.
probably like, "Oh, I'm the head coach. I'll develop the quarterback." And turns out, it's not how it works. There's quarterback coaches for a reason.
Yeah, and I
That's all
guarantee
they
that
do
was
is coach a quarterback.
yeah, no, I guarantee that was part of Underwood like talking about going to the portal, or I don't know, did he actually
Yeah,
declare for the portal
he
and then
I don't
came
think
back to
so, but
Michigan?
did he?
Yeah, he came back or went back.
Okay, I didn't know he actually entered the portal. I thought he waited to see who the new coach was and then had
It could have
talks.
been that. I don't remember if he actually entered or if he it was just talking about entering, but he did end up still at Michigan, re-signing with Michigan. And a
Yeah,
big
but
part of that, I think, is because
Whittingham was
Whittingham
a little.
actually,
Yeah, he's got two quarterback coaches for him, but he was shell shocked when he realized that he didn't have a quarterback coach all year. He
yeah,
was
I
like,
would be
he
too.
kind of like laughed. He was like, "What? Like, there's no way that you have a guy that is just this talented, 5-star, number one player in the country, and you don't have anyone trying to get him better."
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense to me at all. Like, how do you not? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
And
I'm
Michigan
shocked
won
by
nine
that.
games.
Yeah, I also don't understand how they did. They might be a sleeper next. Like they might be a sleeper next year. They might be a sleeping giant. Whittingham's a great coach. Again, we're
Yeah.
getting into next season already. We haven't even finished this season. Um,
Oh,
but in that same,
everyone has finished this season except for two teams, but
that is
yeah.
very true. That is true. Everyone but two. Yeah. Um, Related to that, we do have some transfer portal news, and we do have to talk about transfer portal because the geniuses at the NCAA decided to make the transfer portal period at the end of the regular or the end of the can't talk in the middle of the season, as in the middle of the playoffs. So a lot of guys that have left and signed new places. I'm just gonna run through this. I do have something to say about the first one, and that is Raiola to Oregon. Uh, All time backfire. Dante Moore staying. Raiola now was a starter as a freshman, starter as a sophomore, and now is a backup quarterback at Oregon. And granted, he probably needs a year to develop. He was not what people thought he would be. But I don't think he really realized that Dante Moore was going to be staying when he went to Oregon. And same thing for Husan Longstreet, who entered the portal because of playing time, backup quarterback at USC, entered the portal because of playing time, and then ends up going to LSU, who just got third guy on here, Sam Levitt. So,
So,
all time backfire for those guys. Do you have anything on
uh,
those three?
so with Raiola, I think it's actually going to be a good thing in the long run. Uh, I think his whole shtick with trying to be Patrick Mahomes Jr. is just kind of like put him in like a bad spotlight with everyone. And I honestly think taking a
Agreed.
step back for a year, like it'll be taking a step back football wise, and he'll be like out of the limelight. He won't be
I
criticized for
agree.
having a shitty game. He just gets to sit back. He gets to learn from Dante Moore. Dante Moore learned from Dylan Gabriel, and Dylan Gabriel learned from Bo Nix. And so, I mean, I just feel like it's going to be a good thing for him to sit. It is pretty funny to think about. Like, he he's been to, what is it now? Like, he went to four different high schools in 4 years, and then
Yeah.
he's been at, wasn't he committed to Georgia right before
Yeah.
signing day or
Yeah.
whatever, and then
Yeah.
decommitted, and then went to Nebraska, and then 2 years in Nebraska, and now he's at Oregon. So I mean, he's been to like 7 or 8 different schools in like
Yeah.
7 or 8 years. So I mean, or like 6 or 7 years. But it's like, I think if he sits for a year, and then plays one more year, but like one more year after Dante Moore, I feel like it'll do a lot for himself as a football player, but also for himself like in the light of the media and all that stuff.
Agreed.
But with Longstreet, I saw something that said the reason that he entered the portal was because part of it was playing time because Mayava came back, but he went to talk to Lincoln and all the offensive staff, and the vision for his future wasn't what he predicted it to be.
So
I'm
they were
assuming
thinking.
I'm assuming they told him there's no chance he's going to be the starter this year, which makes sense.
Yeah.
And then that they're probably going to bring in competition the year
Well,
after.
they have Jonas Williams coming in, who a lot of people actually think is better than Longstreet.
He's
So
only a
that
four
is
star. I mean, who knows? Honestly, I don't know why my camera did that.
no, for sure, for sure. I think it's just he seemed like someone that was really big on USC too, just like a big like USC guy his whole life.
Didn't he
Um,
decommit from Texas A&M and switch to us?
yeah, but that was after Julian Lewis like started flirting with Colorado, and then he like
Yeah, but
decommitted right away. Um, but my thing is like, if you're going to be now, I didn't see the thing about the future being different, and that's a legit reason to transfer. Um, my thing is like, if you want to be a starter, and then you end up having, and so you leave Lincoln Riley, who has three Heisman winning quarterbacks, and at one point had like all of his guys
I
that
mean,
played for him at college were starting in the NFL. Why would you leave to go to another team where you're still the backup? You're not gaining anything, and
I will
you're in
say
the
though,
same
if
situation just somewhere else objectively with a coach who has objectively worse career statistics with quarterbacks.
Kiffin does play in a quarterback friendly system though,
He does,
like
and Jackson Dart, but outside
he's
of Jackson
he's
Dart,
not
who
in
has
a.
Kiffin produced?
I mean, Trinidad this year he turned from like
Well,
it's just a it's a
Trinidad this year.
quarterback friendly system. Like uh, it doesn't ask the quarterback to do too much, and so I feel like and Lincoln doesn't really ask his quarterbacks to do too much either.
He
Uh,
does not.
so I feel like it's Kiffin maybe hasn't had the track record of NFL guys, but like he's had really good college quarterbacks. My thing with it is he might be the third stringer this year.
That is true.
Like legitimately might be the third stringer because they brought in Levitt and Levitt's going to start. They're probably paying him
Yeah,
$6 million. He's going to start. They brought in I think it was an FCS transfer, but he was
yeah. He
like
came from.
the
I think he went from. He was from Elon and played
Elon
like
maybe.
really
Yeah,
good. Yeah,
he was the CAA. There's their conference. I think it's the CAA. He was the freshman
yeah,
of the year. So like
yeah,
he's the same age as Longstreet. So they're going to be competing for the backup job, and if he loses that job, then he's going to leave, and
yeah.
he's
100.
going
percent
to go somewhere else. And I don't know. That's just college football nowadays. It's just
I
kind of
think it
wild
like
to me.
legitimately has potential to be like a JT Daniels or a Malachi
Uh,
Nelson, where he just.
I think he's good. I think he's actually good.
I think he's solid. Though
He
the
looked
couple
good when he
games
came
that,
in.
yeah, but he was a total like if his first read wasn't there run, which is to be expected for a freshman. I just don't know. I don't know if There's obviously like something. There's a reason other teams like Miami could have offered him. They don't have a quarterback next year.
Well, I think
Florida
Miami's trying to
State,
go after someone that's a little more established.
they do like their transfer quarterbacks. Florida State could have gone after. I mean, that's their like Florida State's big holdup lately is that they don't have a quarterback. Like Tommy Castellanos wasn't what they thought he was. DJ whatever DJ was what everybody but Miami apparently thought he was, and that's
Hmm.
terrible. They just haven't had a quarterback lately. So like since was it Jordan Travis that busted up his leg?
Yeah.
Like Florida State needs a guy they could have offered him. They didn't. Like there's teams that probably need quarterbacks that just aren't offering him, and that's surprising to me. I think that kind of speaks on like how he's looked at.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. I thought he looked good in his limited time with us last year, but I they like 24/7 Sports has him rated as the sixth highest quarterback transfer,
I did
uh,
see that.
and I think that's out of everyone. That's like uncommitted guys and committed guys, and he's ahead of Deuce Knight, Byron Brown, Rocco Beck, Josh Hoover, Austin Simmons, uh, Prabula, Kenny Minchie, Aiden Childs. Like, there's tons of guys that he's ahead of. So I mean, he's still like I don't know if that's like we talked about earlier, the star ratings. Someone just giving him a star rating saying, "Oh, he's this good," blah blah blah. But the little college football writers like him, and I mean I
It's
think he's
true.
good. I just think that he would. I think he would have been the backup at USC, and he kind of would have been handed the starting job. So I don't know why he
I
left,
see.
but it's
I
college
thought so
football
too,
nowadays, and
but a lot of people are big on Williams, so I don't know if that would have been necessarily been the case, to be honest. I guess
yeah,
we'll
you never
see.
really know. You never really know. But uh, I trust Lincoln. He's a good
Trust.
quarterback
When
developer.
it comes to
So
quarterbacks, I trust Lincoln completely.
yeah, but I just think it hurts when your 5 star leaves, uh,
It does hurt.
and I don't
It
want to
does
just
hurt.
trash him
But
for it because I know it's a business nowadays. But I don't know. I feel like he did go to a different, a shittier. I shouldn't say shittier. I should say worse situation than he had at USC. But
yes,
it's not a bad situation. I would say like there's a chance he could win the
yeah,
backup job, and then Levitt's gone after this year, and maybe he starts. Like
that
maybe
is
he looks
yeah.
so good, and they're like, "Fuck, we can't start you because." Excuse my language. Like, we can't start you because we have Levitt, but you'll start next year.
That's a
And so, I mean,
possibility. That is definitely a
who knows?
possibility.
But
I think he's someone I
uh,
want to see do well,
yeah, I definitely wanted to see him do well.
especially
But
if Jonas Williams comes in and starts playing really well. It's like, okay, I get why you left. Like, I rooted for Dart because, like, hey, we got Caleb Williams. Like, obviously, you're going to transfer when you get Caleb Williams.
yeah, but
Iceman.
those other quarterbacks that transferred, like Levitt going to LSU, Sorsby to Texas Tech, Hoover to Indiana. I feel like every quarterback kind of looking through this list too. Like almost every quarterback domino has kind of fallen into place.
Yeah,
Like
that is true.
you've got Levitt, Sorsby, Mestamaker, Lagways at Baylor, uh, Deuce Knight over at Ole Miss now. Byron Brown follows his coach to Auburn. Rocco's following his coach to Penn State.
Yeah, you just said
Uh,
name about half the guys I was going to name.
yeah, like Hoover's gonna go be
Hoover
the
to
next great one
Indiana.
over under Sig. Uh, Pribula leaving to go to Virginia, and Missouri bringing in Austin Simmons. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I like Aiden
My,
Childs going to Northwestern. I think that's a sneaky one. For,
you know,
with
it's they have
I just
it.
think it's a sneaky one.
I like Michigan. I mean, I'm not Michigan State. I like Aiden Childs. I think he played well at Michigan State. They're gonna have to play like three of their former starting quarterbacks, so they keep leaving next year, which I do find funny. So just run through what I had then. Levitt to LSU, Sorsby to Texas Tech. Good move there. Cam Coleman to Texas. Sark is getting some dudes.
Huge.
Sark is getting
Well,
some dudes.
they they lost a lot though. Like they had that little
That is
period. Like
true.
you know how Oregon had that period the last couple of days where a bunch of their little true freshmen and redshirt freshmen just
Yes.
hitting the portal. Uh,
Yeah, they had
they
that.
had they had that going. Like they have 26 guys that have entered the portal this year. Texas has, and it's one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight guys that are 4 stars, and like there's not really many 5 stars when it comes to portaling. So like they're losing a lot.
They are. They are. They did get a ton of guys. LSU also got a ton of guys. They got like a ton of receivers specifically, which was they. I'm assuming lost a
What did we
bunch.
say it was? 9 the other
It was
day.
like nine. We counted. It was like nine receivers. That's insane. Josh Hoover to Indiana. Here's one that I think is a little funny. I do have something to say about this. 20 plus Illinois Iowa State guys have gone to Penn State and followed their head coach, including Rocco Beck.
Well,
Iowa State wasn't necessarily good last year at all. And so,
not
like,
really.
just because they pick up and move to Happy Valley, that's going to be like a similar team. Like, I don't get why he would take that many guys.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's just taking a lot of the core guys he thinks, but like Oklahoma State, like 20 plus guys from North Texas went to Oklahoma State.
That
Uh,
too.
I want to say a lot of the guys, like I don't think it's like 20, but I think like 10, 15 guys went from Penn State to Virginia Tech. Tons of USF guys to Auburn.
That
So
is
I just
true.
think that's how it is. I think that's how it's going to be nowadays. Uh, especially with the portal. Like I'm going through this right now. Like there's teams that just have so many portal commits, and it's a lot of it is due to coaching changes. Like LSU's got 28 commits already. Penn State's got 36. Oklahoma State has 49 transfer commits, and that's not even counting their freshmen that are coming in this year. Uh, Kentucky's got 26. Virginia Tech 23. Auburn 24. Colorado 34. Like it's crazy nowadays. UCLA's got 38 new guys coming in.
That is very true. That is head coaches change. They do bring a lot of their old guys, which to me is just again never made sense because when they weren't great the year before. And then the last one I have is Justice Haynes to Georgia Tech. I think that is a great move for him.
Same.
That is an absolute great move for him. I think Georgia Tech might not skip a beat next year, to be honest.
Depends who they have at quarterback.
I would have loved for it to be Justice Haynes and Haynes King. Like Haynes is such a unique first
Can
and
he come
last
back
name.
though?
I don't think he can, but I just think I would love for because of the names, Justice Haynes and
Mm-hmm.
Haynes King, and like King is like a name that's not like a name, like it's a word. Same with Justice. Like you could have made T-shirts with that.
Yeah. Another
Like
big one I'll say, and then we can move on to the next thing. Oregon getting Coy Parrish from Minnesota at safety. That guy is so good. He's I think he's Caleb Downs level. Like
yeah,
he
I'm
he just
with
doesn't
you.
get talked about as much because he played for Minnesota. But
I'm with you. He is a very
Oregon
good
picking
player.
him up is insanely huge.
Agreed. That's actually the last one I had was Justice Haynes. So if there's any that I missed that you want to talk about,
Not really. I mean, just a few. Like I mean, I, Coy Parrish. I mean, I think DJ Lagway will kind of be good in Baylor. I know I brought him
I
up,
did forget to mention DJ
but
Lagway to Baylor, but you did mention that.
other than that,
That'd
I
be a good move
mean,
for him.
Nick Marsh going to Indiana. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to have an insanely good
I
year.
think besides the like two that I talked about, I think most of the moves in the portal have been very good moves for both the player and the team.
Yeah, uh, and I mean, I do like what USC's done in the portal so far. Granted,
I
we've only
also like what
gotten
USC.
7 guys, and one of them was a punter, but I have
We did
liked
need
what
a
they've
punter.
done. Gotten two
Yeah,
corners, a linebacker, an edge guy, a D lineman, a wide receiver. So I do like what they're doing. They have like half the team coming back, or like
yeah,
more than half the team. I want to
like a
say
ton. Yeah, a ton of the team
only
coming
20
back, and
guys
then
hit the
they're
portal.
yeah. Well, and Lincoln said that they're gonna just use get positions in need. I'd like to see some get some more linebackers, but besides that, I think very very good what they've done. I
And
like that defensive line is gonna be disgustingly good.
if you go look at the 20 guys that transferred, like guys that I would say took a step up would be Braylon Conley going to Georgia,
Okay.
Walker probably going to BYU just because he gets to
Yeah,
play
he's going to
with
BYU.
with Ryder, and I think that Walker's really good, and I think
I think
BYU is on the
Walker's good
same
too. I
level as
thought
USC
Ryder
right
was
now.
taking a mission. Is he not taking a mission?
He is, he is,
So why
but
does
Walker still
Walker
has 3 years
transfer
left.
now? But why transfer now? Why not keep playing where your boys are at, and then when your brother goes in, then go in?
I have no idea. Devin Tompkins to Bama, but other than that, that's it.
Yeah, I'm
That's
with you.
it.
I don't think
Oh,
that
and
they
Houston is like maybe I think LSU might be like with Kiffin there, it might be pretty even right now, but
even
like
like B-Jack, appreciate what B-Jack did coming in and literally having to go in at halftime and get dressed and playing with turf toe, which I found out it's actually a very bad injury. I laughed at turf
oh
toe for the
yeah,
longest time. Dude, it's like if you take your finger and bend it all the way back, but on your
yeah,
toe. It's
yeah.
actually really bad. I
It's
learned
terrible. It's
that
like
somewhat recently, and I was like, wow, can we pick a freaking
it's
better
like a
name for it then?
hyperextended toe, pretty much.
Yeah. But
Like
when you hear like oh turf toe, it's like what like stubbed your toe a little bit, like it's not that bad. No, it's
basically
bad.
that's
Like
what it is though.
torn ligaments,
Basically that's what it is. It's just really, really, really bad.
torn ligament bad. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know a girl that had turf toe was like in a boot and everything, and uh, yeah, it was pretty bad. But yeah, appreciate what he did for us, but don't think we're gonna really miss him, to be honest. He
Hmm.
didn't really do a lot, just kind of a body we needed, and I think
No, yeah,
best to move our separate ways.
I think out of the 20 guys that transferred, I mean, a lot of them were true freshmen last year too. Uh, but also a lot of guys didn't do much. Like Houston and Kevin didn't play. James Johnson didn't really play. Joey Olson
Kevin,
didn't
yeah,
play. Devin Tompkins played. I don't think Alex Payne played. Uh, Walker didn't really play. Prince didn't play. Harry Dalton didn't play.
Prince did
Micah
not play. Yeah,
Banuelos hardly
Prince was
played.
a.
Prince
I
was a
did like
transfer
Michael
in.
Benuelos.
Yeah,
I've always liked
he's young
Micah
too.
Benuelos. Yeah,
But Garrison Madden, Carlin Jones didn't really play. Anthony Beavers Jr. didn't really play. Matai was a true freshman. I think Steve Miller was a true freshman. Uh, Makai Sina, I think he was a true freshman too. Gus Cordova was a true freshman. Uh, Braylon Conley, I don't know how he got a Georgia offer. He's like one of the worst
uh,
rated guys on this. DJ Jordan and Brian Jackson. So
all right, with
yeah,
the transfer portal news, we were just waiting to get to the national champion, or not waiting to get into the national, but we want to talk about transfer portal news before we got to the national championship preview, and we're gonna make it quick. This is already a pretty long episode. I think this might be our longest episode yet. National championship preview. So, like I said, we have Indiana and Miami playing each other. This is really a difference. So on the offensive side for Miami, you got kind of inconsistent. You got Carson Beck, not great, uh, with a lot of experience, more of a game manager, and Mark Fletcher Jr. and then Malachi Tony. But they're a very inconsistent offense. They're a very, very inconsistent offense. Not a great offense. They put up 10 against A&M, who has a good, not great defense. Defensively, though, they are insane. They have Ruben Bain Jr., absolute stud. Akeem Messador, absolute stud. Their defensive line gets pressure on the quarterback, and they stop the run. They held Jeremiah Love to like 30 something yards when they played Notre Dame. They are absolutely insane. Matched up against though an Indiana team that outside of Mendoza doesn't have a lot of stars, superstars. And I'm going to say even Mendoza's only thrown for 300 yards once, meaning he's not carrying them across the finish line. This is just a very fundamentally good team that does their job. We've talked about it a lot. And I think that's a very interesting matchup.
yeah. Uh, I think both teams kind of have a dominant defense. Miami's just a little bit more talked about just because of the guys they have.
Sure.
But I mean, Ohio State only scored 10 points on that Indiana defense. And I mean, I know Miami and Ohio State played, and Ohio State scored a little bit more points, but I think this is going to be a slugfest. I think
I think, yes, defensive slugfest. I don't think there's a lot of scoring in this game.
I think it's
It's
going to look a lot
giving
like the Big Ten championship game.
100%. That's what I would say. It's giving me Big Ten championship game vibes. It's going to come down to a
But
field goal, a 13-10 game. I don't think either team scores more than 20.
I think we'll see a couple turnovers on each side, maybe.
Yep.
Uh, but I think it's going to be a good football game. I'm excited to see how Indiana's O line handles uh, Miami's defensive line, and then I want to
Miami,
see if the because I know Keontae Scott's going to lock down his receiver. I want to know if those other wide receivers could win their one on ones and can take advantage because Miami is going to pressure Fernando and they're going to try and stop the run and make him throw the football. And
yes.
if they can do that, and Miami and Indiana's receivers don't win their one on one battles like they have been doing, it could be a long day. And
It could be, and
Indiana's offense could struggle.
I'm very curious to see how, like you said, the Indiana offensive line are they able to stop the Miami defensive line and the blitzes that they have, because Indiana's offensive line is insanely good, and so I think that'll be interesting to see who's able to stop who. Now, I think Indiana, what they have going for them, they run a very RPO heavy offense. So, hey, if you're going to attack down and try to get the quarterback or try to fill the run, we're just going to hit a receiver that's run a little out route or a little screen or just, RPO type stuff, slant route. I think that could actually completely screw with Miami because then if they drop back, we saw it when you with USC and Illinois. If they drop back, they make the hey, we're gonna take the throwaway. I think Miami or I think Indiana's offensive line can open up holes and can. So I think Miami's gonna have to choose one. If they choose to stop the run, which I think they probably should, it will come down to can those receivers win their one-on-ones.
I also want to point out, I saw this on ESPN the other day, but Miami's O line is on average like 35 pounds heavier than Indiana's D line. And so, like, they are way bigger, way taller, maybe not way stronger, but way bigger, way taller.
Yeah.
And that might be like, that was probably a reason that Miami was able to run it 51 times and control the clock
Yeah.
against
100%.
Ole Miss. So
one 100%.
that's a little bit of a worry for me, but I do think Indiana has enough to put a halt to that, even though they are smaller.
I agree. I agree. I agree with everything that you just said. I don't have really anything more to add. Um, besides the pick, and I'm gonna let you go first on your pick. And let's include, since there's one game, let's include a score.
Man, uh, I I'm kind of torn. I've kind of been torn. I could see both teams winning if I'm being honest. Uh, but I'm going to ride with Indiana, and I think that it's going to be like, oh man, I didn't write a score down, but I'm thinking around like 37 to 42 points are going to be scored in the game. So I'm thinking like a 20-16 type of game, like 5 field goals kicked, 2 touchdowns, defensive battle.
Yeah, I
But
I I don't
that's what
disagree
I'll
with
go.
that. So
I'll go
what
20
I'm
to
looking at
16
here,
Indiana.
20 to 16. All right, log it 20 to 16. What I'm looking for here is you have a team with a lot of superstars, but they have faltered. They didn't play great against Ole Miss. They've shown that they can kind of play bad. Versus Indiana with very little stars that are carrying them across, but a very fundamentally good team, and that is hard to beat. I don't think that they can out superstar that team. So I'm rolling Indiana here. I'm thinking more like a 17-13, and even 17, I'd be shocked. If there's 2 touchdowns and one team has 2 touchdowns, I'm going to be shocked. I'll say like a 16-13, something just weird. Some weird low scoring type of deal.
Yeah, I could see like one team kicking 4 field goals or whatever and scoring one
I could see I
touchdown,
I could
getting
legitimately see
19.
like a I could legitimately see a 13-12 game. Four
That
four
wouldn't
field
surprise me.
goals, touchdown, 2 field goals. Not at all. All right, with that, I think that's everything I had. Nick, did you have anything else?
I, I don't have anything.
All right, well then we will see you guys after the national championship. And if you guys are not following on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, make sure to do that. Make sure to do that. It makes the channel grow. And Nick's TikTok is right here. It has his on there. Nick only posts videos from this, so go spam Nick's comments. Tell him to start posting more. Start posting more of just himself. Tell everyone tell Nick you want to see more of him. With that, then that is it, and we'll see you guys after the national championship game.